PG, what's up, Yussie? In the chat already? Well, we better roll it for posterity anyway.
Three, one.
And we're done on mine as well. I was a little delayed there. Oh, I am doing real good. It's super nice to be back at everybody's mom's house. And, we're on time today. We got people pre-chatting and it sounds, yeah, man. What are you holding there? Oh, very nice. True. Treat. Yeah. Dude, that sounds nasty. Wow. Okay. Sure. Dang, bro. Excalibur. Yes, it is the 78 Les Paul Deluxe using this Eddie Van Halen patch. It's pretty nice. It's very mid-rangey, I guess, the tone on that patch, and it's pretty cool. I found a Polyphia one too that I tried for a little bit, but yeah, that's right, Mountain Man, Brown Sound. What's up, Jimmy, Steve, Mountain Man, Mark, Spurgeon? We're cracking over here on my channel. It's good. Closing the doors. Yep. Hey, Jonathan, you're humming there, sir. Your guitar's humming at us a little bit. There we go. You're good. We got it. Um, Continue. Yeah. Mhm. Sure, sure. Mhm. Yeah. The the placentia? No. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, yeah. I get that. Well, okay. So, first and foremost, like, GNL, I I appreciate that you've tried. I mean, I played a couple of them. I don't care for them at all. I they could It's not that I dislike the guitar. It's literally that it doesn't need to exist and never did, in my opinion. I just don't think that it was ever a brand that needed to exist. People weren't like, clamoring for stuff. I guess maybe right after the CBS merger or whatever, people wanted something, but he just continued to innovate where innovation wasn't necessary. It's kind of like one of those things like, Leo peaked at the beginning. Like, you're not gonna do better than a Strat or a Telly. Like, it's just not possible. They're so good. It's like even now with all the stuff Fender puts out, like, it's unnecessary, in my opinion. Like, the Jaguar is unnecessary. The Mustang guitars are unnecessary. They serve no purpose, in my opinion, because the Strat and the Telly are so much better and so much more widely used that literally everything else is just it is just a substitute, including a GNL version of either one of those guitars. So that's just sort of my baseline on GNL. It's not hate for the brand. I think it's cool that Leo kept going and trying to do new things. I just never thought they were necessary. I also hate the headstocks very much. And I understand that that's a totally personal to me situation. I have many headstocks in this. And, even the one I made up here, I don't really love that much, but like the GNL headstock, I just didn't like it. So there was that. Secondly, Jimmy brings up a good point. They never really got the handle on marketing. As a company, they kind of stayed in that like 70s, 80s like era of marketing. Like, you could find, like you were saying, you could find GNLs like in a magazine at long after magazine culture was over, you know? And, like, no social media presence, like, nothing like that. Even Harmony got the memo. Like, they started doing, social media and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was another part of their downfall. I just think, like, we don't need them. Like, we never needed them, but we really don't need them now, especially with companies doing things like what you're holding there, or, you know, even that might be more nefarious. but, like, you can go get a really good telly from Firefly or from Harley Benton or from, a litany of other companies. You can get a super good Sir tellies are awesome. Friedman makes a great telly. Like, there's so many other places to get it. It's just like GNL was just kind of an outlier. So I'm not surprised to hear that. I don't think it's the end of Leo's legacy. Like, it will never die. He made the Strat and the Telecaster, man. Like, it's yeah, yeah. It can never die. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and even Heritage is a little different to me because so GNL wasn't in the old Fender factory. Like, they didn't do that, and it wasn't a bunch of old Fender employees. Maybe he took a few with him when he started GNL, but certainly none of those people are still working there. And also, frankly, like, Heritage guitars are fucking better than G&L guitar. I mean, they just are. Like, they're just better, and they hold more true to their lineage than a G&L. G&L has those weird pickups, and I know they sound good, and I'm sure they play, the ones I played just fine. But, like, my buddy had a G&L Telly. They went budget too soon at G&L. Like, there's no, Heritage had no budget line until last year. And that was a good move on their part because they built up a reputation of quality. And I just think they're not anywhere near in the same ballpark. Heritage will continue, like, for a long time, and they'll be profitable. Yeah, nobody wants them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would, yeah, yeah. They'd make that line for like a year. You know, it just wouldn't make much. Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, their CE line is incredible. Like, nobody's really doing, a value line the way that PRS is doing it. Here's where I'm at with that whole thing. Okay, so, we talk about the heritage budget line. First and foremost, if you make a set neck style guitar, nobody, and I mean fucking nobody, wants a bolt-on version of that. They just don't. I don't it's totally dumb. I'm not advocating that it's the right stance. It's just true. I That's it. Like, even my Firebird back here, like, it's a bolt-on, and the only reason I let myself get away with that is because the Voltour by, Novo and the Fano Phoenix, I think it's called like the FNX or whatever, are bolt-on neck Firebird style guitars. So those seem to have precedent in quality. So I was like, okay, but like if nobody had ever made a non-set neck Firebird, I would not have bought a bolt-on neck version of a Firebird. I just wouldn't have done it. And that's just the way it is. Like that's why PRS CE line's so good. That's why PRS made the Strat is because that's the only way they can sell a bolt-on PRS is by having a version that has precedent as a bolt-on neck style guitar. So it's just true that like, I mean, yeah, like I don't want a bolt-on neck SG. Yussi's bringing up the SG studios and stuff. Like I don't want a bolt-on neck SG or a Les Paul or that my flying V over here is a set neck. I had to glue it in. I don't want a bolt-on neck. Like anything that's I don't want a bolt-on neck PRS uh DGT. Like I we don't want it. And so that's why the Heritage line doesn't do well. That's why the Epiphone starter guitars don't do well. Like they had to, like, do the routed bolt for the little kids ones even, so that, like, your hand is touching wood and not a metal plate on those. Like, it really is a delicate thing. It's just like set neck style guitars are not gonna sell in a bolt-on necks, like, setup. And so I think that's why that happens. That's just my unadulterated opinion. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah. I want one. I really I like their single cuts, quite a bit, and I would love to have, either, like, maybe an older Mark Holcomb SE single cut. Um, I do like I I like their guitars. I just haven't bought one, and, I probably will at some point, but, yeah, I mean, everyone I've played probably just like the experience with GNL. It's kinda one of those things where with PRS for me, like, PRS doesn't need to exist. They do, and I'm happy about that because they make cool guitars, but they don't need to exist in the way that other brands do. Like, Novo, in my opinion, needs to exist. They make incredible instruments. It's a unique body shape. It's like I to me, like, certain boutique builders, like, we need them. I don't know that anybody needs PRS, but I would certainly say people are glad that they can spend $10,000 on a wood library, PRS, Paul's guitar or whatever. They're cool, but they're not necessary. Like, really, the brands that are necessary are, frankly, they're Fender, they're Gibson, and I don't even know what argument, maybe you're talking Jackson or um, you know, but it's just kind of we're over diversified here. We've got like 15 guitar companies building Strats and Tellys. Like that's not needed. Eh, but I digress. Mhm. Okay. Oh, really? Sure. Far be it for me to trash anything Nuno does.
Looks really strange. So I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like doesn't need to exist in the same way that
Yeah.
say what was the brand you just mentioned? What's the one you just mentioned there? Novo.
Uh, oh, Novo, yeah.
Yeah, Novo. I don't know why
Yeah,
I just blanked there.
yeah.
Doesn't need to exist in the same way that they do. And if you've not seen it, like I said, it looks funky, um, but it is like 100% samurai guitarist because he always did the world's weirdest guitars thing that he did where he had the weirdest stuff on his channel and stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah, he's a funky guy anyway, for
and
sure.
they sold out like
Very
immediately.
creative.
I think they were
Okay,
like
nice.
$1,400, $1,200 somewhere around in there. So not super expensive.
Look, far be I'm saying try anything
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. But
absolutely.
like, GNL has been limping for like 2 decades, you
Yes,
know.
I will agree
I
with that.
I would say try anything for sure. Like Claudio Sanchez from Coheed and Cambria is making a guitar right now through his sort of private company called Kill Audio, which is
Mm.
like Claudio Kill Audio. And it's called the Jackhammer, and it's a flying V, essentially, or it's like, and it's kind of like Wild Audio,
Mm.
Zach Wild's stuff. So it has a flying V ass end, and then it has a horn like a Explorer, and then it's got this like big hook down at the bottom, like Prince style, almost like something like over exaggerated. It's a cool guitar, and I'm a huge Coheed and Cambria fan, and I like
Yeah,
want one, but like, I think the market will dictate whether or not these things need to exist. And then, like, maybe Samurai, it's kind of like what Phil McKnight did with those Badlands guitars. Like,
yes.
they got the headstock right. It's
Mm.
totally palatable. They're super cool. I've looked at them. They're way too expensive, and I just don't think they're going to sell that many of them. I
Yeah,
get it. It's made in America. It's all good. I fully support anybody who wants to buy one. I think they're cool looking, like cool as shit. I would definitely play one. I'll never have enough money to buy it.
yeah, yeah,
So, it's just kind of one of those things. Like the market will dictate whether all of these things need to exist. I think that we know by now which ones do and
yeah,
which ones sort of hover around the bottom. And if you're low on overhead, Friedman doesn't sell a shitload of guitars, but they always have 4 or 5 in stock at Sweetwater.
right.
So it's
Yeah,
just
I think that their
it's
bread
just
and
kind of
butter is their amps because the Friedman amps
it
are
is. Yeah.
awesome. Never
Yeah.
been a big
They're
fan
just
of the Friedman
making
guitars.
guitars because they can, because of all
Yeah,
that amp money,
right.
so
Yeah, that's something that I've always kind of wanted to get was like a Friedman amp. Just I've had the Friedman the when they made the little like Soldanos and stuff. They made
The babies,
the little
yeah,
baby Friedman one. I had that one time too. That thing was awesome. That thing was really really
yeah.
cool. It was just a little solid state thing, but it was so cool. Now, when you look at maybe this raises the question: do other brands like sub brands need to exist as far as like say Donner, for example, because what does Donner do but
Right.
making Strat copies? I mean, they've made kind of
That's
everything,
true.
you know, but they're one of those brands that make something that someone could get if they want something maybe slightly different, that's kind of familiar, that they can afford. But it's like, then you look at it and say, well, what about Squire? Like, Squire's doing the Fender thing for
Yeah.
a lot of times cheaper than Donner does, as an
Well,
example. But
the problem is that the way that those bigger companies are set up, and I think you can speak to this with your experience with Donner. The Donner guitars are the same price as a low end Squire, or sometimes less expensive. They
yeah,
are far better in quality. So, like, whatever the thing is, I think the overhead at a company like Fender or Squire does not allow for them to use stainless steel, ball end frets,
mm,
good sounding electronics. Like, they just have to make it shitty, and they have to do it quickly. I don't know how good their CNC factory is. Donner seems to be doing a much better job.
mm,
So, like, there are companies that need to exist like Donner where they do Squire better than Squire. Same for Harley Benton. Like, that's probably better than your average Epiphone triple pickup SG.
right.
And it was $250. It wasn't $1,100. So I think there are companies at the bottom that need to exist that do really well because they do the replicant thing better than the company that owns the official replicant.
So then, this is something that I've thought about before. How come someone like Squire or Epiphone, just as two examples, how
Mhm.
come they don't feel the need to either put in the extra time for the QC or do something like put in the stainless steel frets, but yet you have brands like eArt or maybe Harley
Yeah.
Benton on some of their stuff.
Yeah.
They can do it in the price range that, you know, Squire sits at, really, or maybe just slightly more, $50 more, whatever.
Yeah.
How do they get it to where they can be that competitive, do you think? But Squire and Epiphone and all the big established brands that have the money and the resources to do that, like they just choose not to. I'm not saying like the new Squires and the new
Yeah.
Epiphones are bad as they are, but
Sure.
and again, I'm still not even saying that stainless steel frets are necessarily better, but that's kind of the trend. That's kind of what people want. That's kind of what people are
Yeah.
going after.
It's a value add.
To add
Yeah.
value to it. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
how do they not? Do you think they just are too stuck in tradition, or do you think they're afraid of like
I
getting back to the
think
public?
well, let's take like the I think the only Squire line that's ever really mattered, which is the well, you know what I'm talking about. The
Classic vibe.
yes, the classic vibe. Thank you.
Throw the vintage modified in there too. They're practically the same thing.
Sure, sure. Those are the only lines of Squire guitars that have ever mattered. Like, they could literally drop everything else and just make those, and people would be fine with that because Donner is doing a $250 guitar better than Squire is. Now,
Mm-hmm.
why I think is due strictly to corporate greed.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that
exactly
they're
what I'm
not
saying.
willing. It's like people will buy the Squire even though it's a piece of shit. They'll mod it, like, they'll do it, like, but if you buy a Donner, you don't need to mod that guitar.
Right.
So, like, it's kind of one of those things where, like, they're like, no, we're just not going to put in the effort on that. Like, we're not going to eat any profit margin on Squire guitars. We're just going to keep them shitty. People will still buy them, and they'll spend money with pickup manufacturers and Tusk and whatever. Music Lily on Amazon. There's so many ways to modify your Squires now
Yeah.
that it's just like not necessary to them, and they're not willing to to eat that corporate profit, which is sad but probably true, and similar to Epiphone, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think part of it with Epiphone is you look at, I don't really remember the time frame they did it. I would say probably around like 2014, 2015, when Gibson started to try to do things like the Robo Tuners, and they were doing all these weird things to the guitars, but putting a volute on the back of the headstock. Like they got so much kickback from that, of people being like, "What are you doing, messing with
Yeah.
tradition?" Like it was all about tradition. And then that's where they kept doing it for a little while. They kept changing the standard and making it not the standard, and that kind of pissed people off too. Then they ended up saying, you know what, look, we
Hmm.
have a modern line, we have our standard line, da 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 da. And I guess to some degree that made people happy, which you see, I mean, you even see like Fender and Squire doing that too. They have their
Yeah.
contemporary line with Squire and stuff, but it's like you said, do we really need, I mean, yes, I say we need it, because it's always good to try to make things better. It's always good to try to modernize things,
Yeah.
because yes, I mean, if you look at a Les Paul, it's flawed. It was flawed out the get go. I
Yeah.
mean, from the get go. I mean, the volute in the '70s, when they put that on there, that was a great way to keep the headstock from falling. The
Got
neck.
one right here.
There you go. Exactly. The
Yeah.
neck break angle is. I mean, Epiphones is better, just slightly, but it's better.
Way better.
Whether you
And
like it or
so
not.
is the scarf joint. Like,
Exactly.
it's a better way for sure. I think it's
Exactly.
proved over and over again to be better.
So I mean, it's got its flaws, and it's like, it almost seems like when they tried to fix it, it was like, no, don't do that. And you
Hey,
have your,
hey,
so,
yeah,
but I don't know. I think that's part of the reason Epiphone won't do things like that. But if they do, they'll put it in like, oh, we'll throw it in the modern. Because like, to me personally, I I like the moderns, but
hmm
I am in that traditional boat, because I love like a big baseball neck, and you're not going to find a modern with that, because it's all, we need the compound radius fretboards, and we need the really
Willy
thin,
wah.
so
Yeah, I agree. We are us guitarists in particular are a very finicky
yeah.
crowd. Um, and I'll just say this, and then maybe we got a couple of comments here, and they'll tie in for sure. But I think innovation uh, needs to come from an outside company, not from like Gibson. It's been proven that they're not allowed to innovate. They're allowed to create new guitars that feel like old ones, but they're not allowed to like those Alex Lifeson Les Pauls with the Kaler in them, or like whatever. Like, none of that stuff sells. Nobody
Right.
likes that shit. We just want Flying V's and Explorers and stuff, all with the same setup. I want the same Gibson guitar in 6 different shapes, and that's it. I mean, like, they're just not really allowed to innovate. Like, same for Fender. Fender gets away with it a little better,
Hmm.
because I think because of the modability of their guitar models. But
Yeah.
I just think, like, if you're going to innovate, you need to be a different company entirely, and that's just the way it goes.
Right.
New companies get away with doing new shit, and established ones, people want what they want, and that's kind of a tough. But that speaks to what you're talking about.
Right. And like, even this makes me think of something too, that is like, I'm gonna try to find it and see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna see if I can put this on screen here, maybe for people, maybe not. Anyway, the neon. You ever seen the neon Les Pauls? that they did
Oh,
a
yeah.
while
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Mhm.
To me, like I was a fan. I've never obviously never
Sure.
played one or whatever, but when I saw them
Sure.
after the fact, I was like, man, I'm a fan of those. They got the Floyd on it, and that's like the one thing that I'm make an exception for is a Floyd on a Les Paul.
Mhm.
If you can make it work, it's really cool. I had an Epiphone Nightfall one
Yeah.
time, and that was so cool, and I regret selling that. Despite the fact that it was just a studio with a Floyd Rose on it. But anyway, yeah,
Sure.
those are cool. I'm a big fan of like neon colors. Like, I mean, you hand me
Mhm.
like a yellow gem or something, and I will be happy. Despite the fact that it's not anything like I normally like. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
something like that. People got really upset at that over a color essentially.
Which is
Take the
just
Floyd
wild.
away.
That's just
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
I'm like it does not every freaking Les Paul has to have a tobacco burst or a sunburst or cherry sunburst whatever with a flame top on it. Not everyone has to have the same
Yeah.
thing. Like you're okay. It's okay to change the color. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, because even something is like this. I mean, it's not. It's a freaking baritone Les Paul. It's got kill switches. It's only got 2 knobs on it. Like it's, you know,
Yeah.
like that. It's not. I don't know. It just people. It just seems like people need a reason to complain about something sometimes. And
Oh, dude.
I don't
You
get it.
know that. You
I
know
don't get it.
that. All right, so Yussi was asking if he has 2 Les Paul studios and he's asking if he should like use one to swap for an SG. I told him absolutely it would be uh, a great idea to swap that. Your thoughts on that? Should he diversify a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's good to have both. I have both, and I like having
Mhm.
both for the versatility of the playing and everything. But I will say this: I like the Les Paul Studios. I think they're good. I would stay away from the SG specials, not the ones with the P90s in it. The ones with the P90s are really good, but
Yeah.
those older, like maybe kind of satiny finished, like SGJs and that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, I would stay away from those. Those aren't the
Okay.
greatest. But you can find, if you look, you can find SG standards, the one with the big pick guard on it, a lot of times for under $1,000 or right around
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, totally.
Personally, I prefer the 61 with the smaller pick guard. It's got a slightly thinner neck on it, but I tend to like thinner necks on SGs. Ironically enough, that's my take on it. So
There you go.
SGs are finicky
Um
beasts. Play one before you buy one. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you have to get used to that that different forward shifted picking and stuff like that. But they
Yeah.
are super I like the thinness of the SG. I think it's like really fun to have a guitar that feels like that close to you. It's just like and the body shape is great.
And it's so funny how it's so different, yet
Oh yeah.
it's so familiar to a Les Paul. If you're a Les Paul and you pick one up, it's like once you get used to it, you're like, oh, I kind of see like the vision here. It's
Hmm.
and I know that sounds maybe kind of crazy because they are radically different, but I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just me. I've always had problems with SGs. Just it took me a long time to find an SG that I really was like, that's my SG. So
Right. I
don't give
remember
up if it's
your journey over the last few years of like trying different SGs and getting rid of them and being like, you know what, that one was pretty good. And
yeah.
yeah, it is. I got lucky with my Harley Benton.
Mm-hmm.
I think the longer the scale length on that sort of, um, I don't know, it softened the blow a little bit for some reason. It's a cool guitar, so I just kind of got used to it also.
Right.
Let's see, and then there was another one. Steve Gunner says his 80s Gibson Sonex is a bolt-on and he loves it. And I,
Oh yeah.
again, going back to that bolt-on for a set next, like it's not that the brand is a set neck brand. Obviously, you can get away with it. The Silver Sky was like the top selling guitar of 2023 or
Oh yeah.
whatever. But like it's a matter of precedent for the model, in my opinion. Now, like I don't know much about the Sonex, but it's probably started life as a bolt-on.
Hmm.
So if the guitar is presented to the public in its very first iteration as a bolt-on neck guitar, typically you can go ahead and
You
like
can get away
count
with
that
it.
one as safe. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
safe, you know. Also Keith for the love of guitars with Keith is in the chat. What up, dude? And the Tooth joined the chat as well. And just want to say thanks for hanging out with us today. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's interesting with G&L going out of business. Like, I just don't think it's gonna hurt anything. Like nobody will even
It'll
notice
hurt
in a
feelings
year.
for people that are like maybe fans of the brand, but I
Hmm.
got a comment over here too. Twisted Lines 1, the Epiphone Wilshire, that look and feel, I like that. Yeah, so the the
Those are cool.
the Wilshire and the Coronet,
Hmm.
those are Epiphone original shapes, right? I don't know if I've ever played one. I like them. I like the way they look. Um, don't they have like the white? It's like a white custom with like
Batwing.
the, yeah,
Yeah,
like that thing. That's cool. Like that's like a top end, not top end, but you know what I mean, like the higher end of like their Coronet line or whatever. I like them. They're
yeah.
a little funky. I don't remember which one has the one P90. That's probably the one I would go for.
That's the Wilshire. The Coronet is comes in configurations. My dad had a Coronet for a while, and it was red. It had the weird Epiphone, not the old school headstock, but like the Strat style headstock on
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that one was kind of fun to play. I don't know that it was ever set up really well, but again, like perfectly fine to sell a bolt-on neck guitar out of a traditionally set neck company. Um, I don't think that those guitar like they brought them back recently and it was like what nobody asked for. Like it just
Yeah.
they don't matter. Like it's kind of like their version of a Strat or something and like they're cool, but they're a side dish. They're not
They're
the
like a
main
relic
course
of the
at all.
past with them too. It's one of those
Yeah.
like quirky things you have in there that it's not your main guitar by any means, but it's just like, oh, I have this. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go pick up my
They're
standard now.
consistent.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, all right, let's put the coronet down and grab the SG because that's what I actually want, you
Right.
know.
Yeah. Which I mean, in a way, it almost, you kind of feel bad because you're like, maybe you're not exploring your stuff, because I mean, like that's the thing with me is I've tried to keep my mindset open to things, and what it's done is it's introduced me to things like Kramer.
Yeah.
Like I love Kramer guitars. I've
Yes.
got I've got a Night V and I've got the two Hot Doggers, and they are fantastic guitars. I mean, the visuals,
Kramer
whatever.
guitars are sick.
Kramers are cool, but that
Kramer needs to exist more than Washburn or, you know, like Dean. Like
right.
Kramer needs to exist. They fall
Yes.
in that category to me. Like they make stuff that other people don't make. And that's what's cool about them.
Right. I mean, and you got something like, I mean, the Beretta is one of my favorite guitars too, despite
Oh,
the fact I've got
great
two
guitar.
84s. But the Berettas are awesome, and that'll
Yeah,
be the next Kramer that I get at some point in time is a Beretta. The only thing
nice.
that with Kramer that people have made the good point about is I don't think that there are any USA made Kramers. I think they're all the way that Gibson, because Gibson owns the Kramer brand
Mhm.
and everything. The way that they kind of treat them is how they have treated Epiphone, where they're kind of making it like, oh yeah, we have this other brand, so we're gonna just kind of, and I don't know, it could be testing the waters, kind of a little bit, because I know that the
Sure.
Kramer revival is still relatively new-ish. I mean, it's been around for a couple of
Mhm.
years, but um, that's something that I've seen people saying too. Is like if they made some USA Kramers now, they would probably make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, I think that would do if they made like a Night V and a Beretta and maybe that what's the model the 84 like if they
Yeah.
made those three in the US, I think they would do pretty darn
Well, and
well
I mean,
for sure.
it's even like what they did with Epiphone. What did they got? They got, do they have a USA Epiphone acoustic? I think it's, was it the Texan
Mhm.
or whatever it's called. Um,
Right.
and then I think they have the Coronet that they make in the U.S. So they have two,
Yeah.
because it took them, you know, 30 years or however long to get
Well, and they
into
make
this
the
stuff.
acoustic as well. They make that what is it called, the country western or
What?
like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They
So they've got one
make
of
it,
each,
yeah.
and it's like, again, I've not tried one of those, but I imagine it's probably about the same as a Gibson,
Well,
which
why are
answers
we
the
doing that model
right.
made in the USA for Epiphone?
Well, so I think it's because that is an Epiphone original design.
Oh,
Gibson had nothing
sure.
to do
That
with
makes
it.
sense.
So if they did an
Yep.
American Epiphone Les Paul, it's like, well, why not just call it a
That's a
Gibson?
Gibson.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
That
I
makes
think that's
sense.
why they did that. But then again, if you go back, because there's always an exception to the rule, I guess. If you go back and look, I think back in the 80s, they had American Squires, right?
So
Very
they had,
briefly.
it was brief. I know the ones that everybody always clamors about for Squire are the
Japanese ones.
Japanese made ones because
Mm-hmm.
they made them in the Fujigen factory for a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Very short period of time, like 1 or 2 years, I think max or something like that. I don't know about the American made Squire, but I know they exist, but I don't know any of the history on that. I only know the Japanese ones.
The only thing
The
that I've
black label.
right, the only way that I heard about him was Steve from Boston, formerly Pixie Mix.
Yep.
He did years ago did a Squire shootout series, whatever. And in the second video of that, that's what he mentioned. He went through and like, here's some ones that I had before, and he was playing a Japanese one, and then he was like, people were asking about the American ones, and he's like, I don't have that one, but yeah, they made them for a very short period of time, and I was like, that was weird. Like, why make why not just call it a? But then,
Offender.
again, more exceptions to the rule. You have like they've made Korean fenders, they make Japanese
Yeah.
fenders, there are Chinese fenders, the tellies with the two humbuckers and like the flame tops on them, those like weird modern things. Those are made in China.
Yeah.
And then now you have the Indonesian fenders, the standards. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's blurring the lines between like, because especially with Fender and Squire, it's like you get to a point where you get like the classic vibe, and then you might get like those modern players, which I don't make those anymore, but those are also made in China. But they call those
Mm-hmm.
Fenders, but they call the classic vibe Squire. It's like, what are you doing? Like you're given
It's
too many options. Like it's at that
yeah.
point, it's like someone just can barely afford the Fender, but it says Fender, so I'm gonna look. It's the same concept with buying a Gibson. They're affordable. It says the right name up here. It looks the part, so you look cool to your other people until they get up on it and say,
Yeah.
"This is fake as shit." That's no accusation. That's just me, off the top. But I mean, that's just
Right.
I don't know. It's so convoluted. God bless
It
anybody
is,
trying to get into
dude.
this hobby now, doing
Right.
research
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
history. Oh God,
It's we are no shepherds to the herd on these topics because it really just
it's crazy.
it's the Wild West. Like
Mm,
there's no truth in anything other than this, as far as my estimation.
yeah.
Put the guitar in your hand, play it. Does it sound good? Does
Mm-hmm.
it feel good? Do you connect to it?
Oh no, my battery.
Change your battery.
I know.
Change your battery.
I changed it before we started.
Um, like there is no truth beyond that. Like that is the only thing that matters. The cost doesn't matter. The brand doesn't matter. Where it was made doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's just, is it good? If it is good, if it feels good, if it sounds good, it is good.
Well, and you know what? The problem is that when you start out, you're not thinking about that.
Right.
When I started out, I mean, I had my first real electric guitar was an Ibanez RG2EX1 made in China, I believe, is either that or Indonesia. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought nothing of like, oh, there are Japanese Ibanezes that are awesome, probably better than this.
Right.
I was just like, this is cool, it works, and I got through my day.
Yep. I mean, that's what is true. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing is it's just like, my first electric guitar was a Squire Bullet Duo Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
and it was actual trash. Like it would not stay in tune. Like it didn't do it was basically unplayable.
Mm,
It sounded really bad. And as soon as I got um that telly that I was playing the other week, the made in Japan Telecaster,
mm,
I put it in my hand and I was like, oh, this is what a guitar is supposed to feel like. And it didn't matter. Those were only $650 at Guitar Center when they were released.
it's
So
unheard
it's
of.
not like, yeah, it's a made in Japan Fender with a fake photo flame, you know, whatever, but they were only $650. My dad got it uh and for my graduation, so he spent a little more money than he normally would have um for a graduation present. And the thing is that it happened to be made by some of the greatest guitar makers the world has ever seen
Yes.
in the Fujigen Japanese factory. And it's a fantastic guitar. And it didn't matter. Now they're 1500,
Mm-hmm.
but they were a quarter of that or a third of that cost when they first came out. And that like speaks more to my point. Like it does not matter because anybody on any given day in any given factory can make a banger of a guitar, dude.
At any price
Like
point.
they, at any price point,
I
for
mean,
sure.
and that again is something that it's like going back to the. I mean, just because you have an overseas made something, you could pay $200 for it today. It could be $600 tomorrow. Quality could stay the same, but it's like, well, if you pay 200
Right.
for it, you win. You know, you're not paying six hundred
Yeah.
dollars to get the same, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. It's
Yeah.
but I think that that's just something that it's like you said, where you have the piece of crap, like it's just objectively a piece of crap, and then you
Hmm.
get something, you're gonna equate that to say, well, that XYZ is bad. Maybe you're not thinking of country of origin. You're just thinking of that model, that name, whatever.
Sure.
And I think that's where maybe a lot of people think, oh, I had a Squire and I got a Fender and I have more fun with the Fender because it stays in tune and da 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 da. Squire bad is kind of the thing.
And Keith brings up a really good point too. You will suck no matter how much the guitar costs or what the name on it is, and
Right.
that is probably even more to the point.
Yeah.
It's like I am so much better of a guitar player from when I even first got the Fender
Mm.
that like, but I will say having something of some type of substance or quality, whether that be a Donner or a Fender or an Epiphone or a good Squire classic vibe. I mean, I played classic vibe Telly's, the 50s butterscotch one.
Mm.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was like $300 used at Guitar Center. And that thing was fucking good, dude. Like
Yeah.
really. And so it's like none of the other stuff matters. All that matters is like where you're at in your guitar journey. Are you inspired to play every day by the
Mm.
instruments that you have around you? And then, you know, like Tooth brings up his $179 Tease Strat. Tease is a really cool new company. They've been around for a couple of years now. And he says it feels better and plays better than his made in Mexico Strat, and he paid a lot more for the MIM Strat, and that totally tracks, dude. That happens all the time. Jonathan probably has a million different examples of that where you had a Donner that, or like in your Donner versus Fender video,
Mm.
where people thought the better sound came from like the cheapest Donner.
The like $99 Donner. Yeah, exactly.
$100 Donner performed better in the poll. Everybody thought that one was the Fender.
Yeah.
It's just like goes to show you, it's like
You worry
none
about
of
the
that
wrong
other
thing
stuff.
sometimes. It's, and
Right.
that's why I harp so much. It's like, look, to flat out say that some things just don't matter, to some degree they do. Everything on the guitar
Sure.
matters. Pickups, the wood even probably matters, but it's literally like that much. If you could see how close my
Yep.
fingers are, you would know how much I'm like.
Fractions of a
It
percent.
is literally that much. So people, when they say it's this massive difference, it's like it's not. I'm
No.
sorry. Blind tests like that prove that,
Yep.
because you can't, because it's what everybody says. You listen with your eyes, and that's what it is. So again, even something like this, if you see that magic name up there, But then you see somebody playing an Epiphone, even if you
Yeah.
didn't know the difference and you knew that this was a fake, or didn't know this was a fake, you would look at me immediately and say, that guitar is better. Objectively, it's not. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
$220
Yeah.
guitar that was made to fool somebody. There are quality issues. I mean, there
Yeah.
are. I mean,
Yeah.
I've played established $220 guitars, Donner being a good example, that are spades better than this out of the box.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, that's just, people don't want to be seen with that. And again, it's an image thing. I've said that for so long. It is an image thing. People just don't want,
Yeah.
they want to look better than they are, but it's,
Don't
you
get
know,
in your head.
exactly.
That would be my advice. Like, don't get in your head about it. When I live stream on Friday nights, going live tomorrow at about 10 p.m.
Be there.
Pacific Standard. Be there. Be square. I switch from this $5,000 to $6,000 guitar to my $75 Strat to my $400. Like, I switch guitars up like throughout the entirety of the stream.
Yeah.
Literally nothing changes other than like how I feel. Like, I want to play all my guitars. I want to give them time, because otherwise, why do I own so many?
Yep.
And like, the only thing that changes is a little bit of tone, and literally nothing else. I don't get better when I switch from, I don't get worse when I switch from the Gibson to the Harley Benton. I don't get better when I switch from the Harley Benton to the Fender. Like, I play the same because I am where I am in my guitar capabilities. And it does not matter which one I'm playing. The only reason I do it is because I like them.
Yep.
Like, that's it. It's just like fun to have multiple guitars. And I never think about how much they cost. I never do that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the only time I ever think of how much they cost is if you're getting more than what you paid for.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, with this Chipson journey I've gone on consistently, because I will say this, Sean knows there are 3 of them. This is the second one. I'm not going to show you all the third one yet.
Yeah.
So you've been graced with that information ahead of time.
Yeah.
You'll see that one. It's cool.
A little sneak peek.
Consistently, they've been realistically more than what I've paid for. And I talk about them in the videos why that's good and bad. But yeah, I mean, even with like Squire, like you said with the Classic Vibe, the best, I will say to this day, the best deal that I've ever gotten on a cheap guitar was when I went to Hot Frog, which is my local music store in Dallas, Georgia. If you're in the area or you come down this way, go check him out. He had, before he moved his locations, he had just gotten in a Squire Classic Vibe Strat, and he had it kind of on the back, and it was dirty, whatever. And I said, I kind of looked over the counter one day. I was like, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, this old lady just brought it in." He said, "I said, how much you want for it?" And he looked at it and he was like, like $100. And I was like, "Here, like, take it."
Child, please.
And that was and it was one of those with the Tone Rider pickups in it and stuff. So like, you had like the not super cheap pickups in it and all that kind of stuff, which I know I just said pickups don't matter, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that thing was phenomenal. It was a tobacco burst with like the tortoise shell pick guard. And I'm like, for $100, that is the best cheap guitar I've ever gotten. Like the best used deal I've ever gotten.
Classic Vibe, that is, I will stand on business when I say that is the only Squire line that has ever mattered to the culture of guitar playing. Yeah, like the art of it. Like they contributed with the Classic Vibe series. Like they contribute to everything.
Because even with me, like I don't care for tellies, but another Classic Vibe story is I had the Esquire. I had a Squire Esquire, and that thing was, and I love Esquires. That's the thing.
Bad to the bone, dude.
Those things are so cool. I did end up getting rid of it. I just kind of fell out of love with it. I think it's one of those, but I regret it. I do. So I kind of want to get maybe another one at some point. I do have my John 5 telly over there, which is my second one that I've had, the gold one, and like that's my telly for
there you go
dual humbucker things. But well, we're working on the traditional telly anyway.
Well, you know what's nice in your position is you sort of poke and prod at these things, and I think that's a good thing. Like you're very you use your channel for like self experimentation when it comes to trying different instruments. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome, and we all get to benefit because we get to see and hear all these things that you're out there trying out. You're like a guitar scientist. Um, and Keith says, personally, I see nothing wrong with going for a guitar based on a name, regardless of if it plays or sounds better. Things are too subjective. If you want to spend money to look cool, go for it.
Oh
Totally
yeah.
agree.
Absolutely.
I think yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think we knock anybody for preferring, the name on the headstock. That's 100% all of our own decisions. And
Yeah.
he also adds he thinks that people like the feeling of getting a deal when they buy a budget guitar, kind of like, see my cheap, like, see what I did. I got this really sick guitar for super cheap.
Yeah.
100%. That's also
Absolutely.
true. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think all this stuff is just, it's just 100% subjective. Like we're a you do you boo boo type of podcast. Like do whatever
Absolutely.
you want. I do think there are brands that don't matter, don't need to exist. I think there are other brands that like we're all really glad that they exist, but maybe they're not number one. PRS brands like Rock and Roll Relics, where they just make like a version of, they have several. They have bolt-on stuff, so they have Strats and Tellys and I think a Jazzmaster style.
Mm.
And then they also make set neck stuff, so they have hollow bodies, they have Les Pauls, and yeah, I think I've seen a couple of Flying V's. Their headstock is super cool. They don't need to exist, but I think that we can be glad that they do, because they also make their own body shape, which is kind of like a Les Paul, kind of like a junior with a elongated ass and like a horn. It's a really weird shape, but it's kind of cool. And I mean, I think there are things that like I'm glad that they're out there because variety is the spice of life. But
Yeah.
GNL didn't really offer much variety. It
Well,
was
what Sean
kind
is
of
saying
like
is
you were
if you
just,
rock up to him playing a PRS, a GNL,
yeah,
or some weird rock and roll relic, he's not going to bash you for it. He's just going to be like,
yeah,
cool guitar, whether he means it or not, and move on.
yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, and
Or,
that's the way it should
I
be, you
mean,
know?
yeah, it's just to be like, cool, man. I mean, I saw a guy with like two doing a solo gig somewhere recently, and he had like two Fender Tellys and a G&L Telly, and I was kind of like,
Interesting.
what, why? But also, like, I did not say anything because why be rude about
Why?
somebody's personal taste
Exactly.
and their guitar? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's not mine. I wouldn't do it, but
Mhm.
yeah, that headstock on them G&Ls, I just never, I don't like what's the one that Greg Koch is, his guitars are through them, Reverend, or
Yes, it is Reverend.
is it Reverend?
I believe it is Reverend. Yeah.
And they have that jagged headstock
Yeah.
with the ball on the end,
Yes,
and
that is
it's like
Reverend.
that looks kind of like a pig wiener. Like, it's not good. It doesn't look good. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like bad headstocks necessarily. The Heritage one I could get over. It's kind of a pinhead, but I could get over that probably. But I
Yeah.
just don't like bad Strat. That's why Novo's so awesome. Like, literally, their guitar could look like anything. The headstock is good. To me, it matters for some reason, and it might not matter to literally anyone else. But
Yeah.
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 Anyway, well, I was ranty today, brother.
Yeah, I think we both were. That's
Yeah.
but you know what? That makes for good television, I guess. Even though we're not
That's what
television. Television's
that's
dead.
what the space is for. Television's so dead, dude.
Well, at least cable's dead, I think. Streaming's alive and well, but that's why we stream here.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Anyway,
Every week, as a
every
matter of
week,
fact.
every Thursday, life allowing, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and we usually go till about 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, which right now it's 3:05. So I think we are unfortunately coming to the end of our journey for today. But that's
Getting to
okay.
wrap it up.
That's okay. We
That is
we've had
okay.
fun. So yeah, we're gonna let y'all get back to your lives. Just make sure you join us here on both of our channels next Thursday.
Straight from your mom's house, baby.
Absolutely. We'll
All
give her a
right.
kiss
Y'all have a
goodbye.
good weekend.
Y'all too. Yeah.
All right.